Alright, what up, what up? Today's lesson we will be talking about power versus control. Alright, now this is a duality. So we want to make sure that we understand the difference between what power is and what control is and the dynamics between both of those, alright? So power, we want to say that this has to do with divine presence. Alright? So presence. It's tied to your love, alright? Love. So control. When we're looking at a form of control, control is tied to your fear. Fear operates. Love operates at a 500. Alright. If you know what I'm talking about, fear operates at 125 hertz. Love operates at 500 hertz. So therefore, when you seeking to control something, you have no power. When you operate from divine presence, what does that mean? That means my present understanding. Try to have my phone on. So that means my present understanding of how things should be going. 1 second, let me put this on solid. So, presence means my present understanding of how to go about things positively to get to the next level or to get where I'm going. So that's power right there, alright? So, let's just say presence will lead to the light. And we know that light means truth. Alright? We know that light means truth. So when we operate from a point of power, that means we operate from how we're supposed to be moving in the present moment to get to where we're looking to be going by, and everything starts with who? Everything starts with self. Remember that. So that means that you can't have power over anything outside of yourself until you have power over yourself, right? And fear, the reason that fear is tied to control, because when we fear things, it's like we're trying to over control things. We're trying to control every narrative, everything that's being said, things that other people are about to say, you know what I'm saying? What's about to happen in our future, which you shouldn't be worried about the future anyway. You should be worried about the present moment, and that present moment will lead to the trajectory of things into that future if you operate from what? Understanding, discipline, but not control. But it is a form of control that you want to be operating from, alright? So we're going to break that down. So we got power versus control, right? So how do we want to go about controlling things? Because our control can't be bad, right? It can't just be bad to want to control things, right? So let's get into it. We just said, what's the first thing you're supposed to be controlling? Self. So you want to have self-control. Straight like that. Self-control. So, it's self-control versus what kind of power? What kind of power are we talking about now? Willpower. So, now for this dynamic, you gotta remember when it comes to dualities, neither one is good or bad. It's just reason. It's all about your reasoning. That means I'm moving like this for a good reason versus a bad reason. We know we don't want to be doing it for a bad reason, right? Because bad reason is negative. You know what I'm saying? Negative leads to a lack of power. And we're aiming for the power. So we want to have a good reason for going about things when it comes to control and power. You know what I'm saying? So what do we want to do? We want to have the willpower to control ourselves. Alright? Willpower, that's real power. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? So we want to have the willpower to control, to have self-control over making sure that presently we are doing everything that we're supposed to be doing to get to the next level. So to have that self-control, it takes the willpower, right? So, but you also want to say present, because when you're thinking into the future or you're trying to, this is the bad part. So we got self-control and we got over-control. We can say that that's a duality of its own. So when you're looking to over-control something, it's always based on the same thing. Fear. You cannot over-control anything. You can only go about things how you're supposed to go about it to get the job done from a place of what? Understanding. Let's write that down. Understanding. And why do you have to have, if you watch any of my videos, you already know what I'm about to say. So why should you have understanding about how to go about things presently, right? Because if you don't have understanding, you are what? Confused, all right? So understanding versus confusion. Now, when it comes to this duality, oh snap. When it comes to this duality of understanding versus confusion, now, we don't want to say, remember, we don't say that any duality is good or bad, but confusion is of the devil. So, but you can actually use confusion as a marker to know that if I'm confused about something, I should not be operating, I should not be presently continuing to go about things in that way because I don't have an understanding. So the trajectory of things, when I'm confused, maybe potential consequences. That may lead to potential consequences. You might get lucky, but it might lead to potential consequences if you are confused about how you're going about things. So you want to, let's give an example. Let's say you got a dog, right? The dog always boo-boo in the house. It pee in the house. You can't get it to stop boo-booing and peeing in the house. You want to control the dog, right? You can't control the dog. You can only control yourself. And how do you control yourself when it comes to deal with the dog? That means that either I'm finna take some training courses on how to train my dog how to stop peeing and boo-booing in the house, or I'm finna hire somebody with my money who can train my dog how to stop peeing and boo-booing in the house. But I can't just tell the dog stop peeing and boo-booing in the house. I can't do that, right? I can't control the dog in that way. I can only go about it presently with my understanding of what needs to get done to make sure that the dog does what I need to do. Now, from my understanding of how to do it, I'm not over controlling anything. I'm not forcing the dog to do anything. I'm training the dog because that's the only way of going about doing it, right? And that goes for every narrative, you know what I'm saying? So, I want to give y'all another breakdown. So, that's willpower versus self-control. It takes willpower to have self-control. Now, we're going to break this down in terms of TV shows, right? So, we got the TV show Power, right? Power, and then we got the one with Tommy Egan, Force. So, control is a form of force. And power is just what it is. So let's just say power is the ghost. That's ghost right there, right? And it's Tommy Egan, Force. Alright, so this Tommy. It's Ghost and Tommy. Alright. So now look. Because Tommy I haven't watched the new season of the show. I don't know what's going on in it, but I understand energy dynamics. So let's just say this, that Tommy, because he's trying to force everything, the trajectory of his story the narrative of his story is leading in a direction he don't want it to go, right? Now, Ghost on the other hand, he operates from power, behind the scenes, doing everything he's supposed to be doing, right? So everything should work out for him correctly. But as we know, Ghost got smoked by his own son, you know what I'm saying? So he got canceled by his own kids. So this is gonna get real metaphorical, all right? So Tasha and Tariq both wanted to take out Ghost. Even Tommy at one point wanted to take out Ghost. Why did everybody want to take out Ghost? When all Ghost wanted was to get out the game. You know what I'm saying? Ghost was trying to go live his life right, do his own thing. He trying to stack up his bread and get out the game. So he got to the point where he became very ruthless in his approach and making sure that he was good and not care about anybody else, focus on his own life. And when he started focusing on his own life, they wanted to force him to do what they wanted him to do. We call this misery loves company. Misery loves company. So therefore, when you're trying to over-control something, when you're trying to force something on somebody else, you want them to feel however you feel. So that's where the misery loves company kicks in at. Now, you always see how people that go into isolation mode, we call it ghost mode, right? ISO mode, isolation mode, ghost mode, they just trying to do their own thing. But guess what happens when you go into isolation mode and you build and you looking to build yourself up? This is when all of these characters want you to come back down to their level. But look, they want you to come back down to their level, right? While you're trying to build yourself up. So you go into isolation mode because they want to keep you in socialization mode on their level because misery loves company and they want to force something on you. So the trajectory of Tommy's story and force is leading to something negative. The trajectory of Ghost's story led to something negative only because he couldn't let go of the people around him. Because he couldn't let go of time of the people around him, it caused him detriment. And I like to call that potential consequences. When you are not in alignment with your truth, it leads to potential consequences. So the best thing that he could have did was stuck to his name and went in ghost mode and let nobody know what he had going on. So that's what the show Power and Force and all that is all about. So the thing is, with media propaganda, they make it seem like this is a good thing and what happened to him was supposed to go down like that, but in our reality, he got canceled by his own kids, you know what I'm saying? By his own son, that's who canceled him. But sometimes you can't focus on the kids, sometimes you gotta focus on yourself, you know what I'm saying? So you can take care of your kids. But when you spend too much time focused on business, you're not spending enough time on your children, and now your children wind up being these little demon childs, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta spend time with your kids too. All metaphorically speaking. Alright? So that's a breakdown of power versus control. Plus we had our little TV show on it, you know what I'm saying? So, hope this makes sense. And make sure that you have a very good understanding. If you're confused about what I'm saying, let me tell you what's going on right now. So, clarity versus clarity. All of us are intelligent, all right? All of us have understanding. But at specific times, we are up or down on the frequency chart. You know what I'm saying? So when you are too far down, you are in cloudiness. When you are too far up, that's good. That's your clarity. You know what I'm saying? So if this don't make sense for you now, you can rewatch it later. But you want to make sure that you understand the clarity when you're trying to figure out these dynamics, or it might not make as much sense to you. Because you gotta remember, this right here is a spectrum. It is all spectrum. That means for better or worse, from 20 to 700, and in between, this is your clarity to clarity state. So, depending on where you are right now, mentally speaking, will be if you understand where I'm coming from. I'll show you.